Subscribe and click the notification bell to stay updated with the latest videos from School of Technology, Management and Engineering, NMIMS Indore.
With this, we will now begin our session on hands-on designing with UI UX by our session experts for today, Ms. Varnika Singh and Mr. Krish Dwivedi, students of BTech and MBA Tech, third year STME NMIMS Indore. Hope you all enjoy the session. Over to you, Varnika and Krish.
There is no such thing as boring project. There are only boring executions and designs. Good evening, everyone. I am Varnika Singh,
And I, Krish Dwivedi.
student of third year, and today we are going to present before you all the session on the topic hands-on designing with UI UX. Beauty attracts the eye, right? What's the first thing you notice when you see a presentation, project, daily use products, or simply a human being?
It is definitely the way someone or something carries itself. Personally, my first observation in any creation is to look out for specifics and designs. Simplicity is good, but monotony makes things seem boring. And to all those who are not familiar with the world of making things and experiences creative, let us introduce you to the world of UI and UX.
Now, before we start, let's understand what front end and back end are. The front end of a website is the part of the user interacts with, while the back end is part of the website or software program that users do not see.
The primary goal of front-end are to raise user satisfaction, decrease user churn, and ensure user-based company goals are reached. It is built using a combination of technologies such as hypertext markup language HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. The front-end develops the designs and constructs the user experience elements on the web page or app, including buttons, menus, pages, links, graphics, and more.
When creating a user interface while developing web mobile apps, you will probably worry about what the user experience in the first place, as it is considered to be the gateway for success. A dynamic, scalable, and sound backend allows focusing on providing a good user experience on the interface side and not worry about logic for front end interface while the hard work is accomplished by backend. The backend, also called the server side, consists of the server which provides data on the request, the application that channels it, and the database which organizes the information.
In the industrial design field of human-computer interaction, a user interface UI is the space where interaction between humans and machine occurs. The goal of this interaction is to allow effective and control of machine from human end, while the machine simultaneously feeds back information that aids the operator's decision-making process.
User experience design is the product process design teams use to create products that provide meaningful and relevant experiences to users. This involves the design of the entire process of acquiring and integrating the product, including aspects of branding, design, usability, and the function.
Now that we know what front-end and UI UX is, let us understand the difference between them. UI UX designer focuses on the visual side and the user experience of a website, mobile application, or software product.
Firstly, front-end developers focus on functionality. They make sure that everything functions as expected by the end users.
UI UX designer conducts user research, build wireframes, create a user experience flow.
Front-end developers ensure that the interface elements lead users to their desired destination along with a proper route and within a reasonable amount of time.
UI UX designers develops visual elements while constantly ensuring that the design is consistent with the company's overall branding as well as human-centered.
Lastly, front-end developers also make sure that the obtained data is saved and ready to be proceeded by back-end developers. Let's understand this difference with the help of a real-life example. Imagine building a web app as making clothes. UI/UX designer is who makes the sketch, decides on the color, fabric, and structure basically. The front-end developer decides on the best stitching technique, finds a way to make the clothes stiff, and ensures that the fabric won't change after any scenario. UI/UX designer also ensures the comfort level and verifies the pattern of the client. At the same time, the work for a front-end developer also has a big impact on overall client satisfaction.
UI and UX are two distinct faces of web design, yet they work in hand in hand. A lot of people new to the world of design and development struggle to understand the difference between UX and UI. So they just lump sum all the visual elements of the design into a single category. While UI focuses on your design interface and how user interacts with it, UX emphasizes the user experience as they use your product or service. Let us now understand how exactly do they function as individuals.
UX designers basically focus on providing best possible user experience to the clients. Their goal is to make functioning and accessibility better. For achieving this, they conduct user research to identify common patterns and behavior. After this, they develop user personas based on target audience to create journey maps to analyze the interaction.
UX designers build prototypes for the final product and perform tests to ensure the functioning. They are responsible for collaborating with stakeholders, UI designers, and developers. While UX designers work their best to provide a good environment for users, they are not responsible for creating the portions that user directly interacts with. UI designers are responsible for organizing page layouts, choosing color palettes, fonts, and making the page interactive.
After working on the initial stage, they create wireframes and layouts of the final design and work hand in hand with developers to convert the design into a working product.
Now, moving on to the career options. As UX designer gains experience, it is common for responsibilities to expand and opportunities to be in charge of projects to increase. This can eventually lead to managerial positions like UX manager, UX director, creative director, and further down the road, executive positions like chief experience officer or vice president of UX.
As you, as you progress in your UX career, try taking on tasks that will give you more experience and responsibilities. Working on different types of projects will also expose you to new challenges and teach you how to respond to them. You'll also want to be sure to have solid interpersonal and leadership skills, as managers oversee groups of people and can interact frequently with employees outside of their team. Maybe you are craving for the freedom to concentrate on projects that interest you. Maybe your personal life has changed and you're looking for work that will give you more flexibility. Whether it's the ability to set your own hours or pick your own clients, there are plenty of reasons UX designers choose the freelancing path. If you are looking to work as a freelance UX designer, you will want to prepare your portfolio. Ideally, you'd also have a network of designers you can tap into to look for work and help refer you to projects. Building up a social media presence can be helpful.
Moving on, a product designer is responsible for the user experience of a product, usually taking direction on the business goals and objectives from product management. A product designer needs a unique toolbox to do their job, spanning from the RT to the techie aspects of the role. They obviously must be creative, but they also must be efficient communicators and storytellers to explain their vision for the product design.
In a usability testing session, a researcher called a facilitator or a moderator asks participants to perform tasks, usually using one or more specific using interfaces. While the participant completes each task, the researcher observes participants' behavior and listens for the feedback. There are many other career options and they are only expanding day by day. So here ends the theory part. Now let's begin with demonstration. There are several softwares for UI design purposes such as Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, XD, Canva, etc. But today we are going to use the Figma app because it's currently in trend. Why Figma? Firstly, it's free to get started with. If you have if you are working by yourself, it works on any computer whether it's a Mac, Windows or Linux. It works on browser as well as have an app. It also has a mobile companion app so you can preview your designs on a mobile screen, so there are really no downsides to starting with tool like Figma. To show you the way, I would recommend you to get started on practicing. Now for that, I'm not going to ask you to start designing something from scratch because I believe that would be very hard with someone, especially if you are complete beginner in this space and you have no grounding in design principles and things like that. The best way for you to get started is actually to copy other designs.
The reason to do so is good because you can see how this design was created so that when you get stuck on something, you can actually see how this person who created this file achieved a particular effect or a look inside Figma, and this is totally fine in the beginning. Now, for moving on to the demonstration part, I hope you have already downloaded the prerequisite file we have provided you with and also installed the Figma app. And don't worry, if you didn't install the Figma app, you can also use Figma on web. For using Figma on web, you can go to the website provided in the chat box and you will meet an interface like this. Here we have three different elements. Firstly, explore the FigJam templates. So what is FigJam? FigJam is a tool used by teams to brainstorm ideas and collaborate with each other. Beneath that, we can see different projects. These are the projects you have been working on or are currently working on. You can open your projects from here. On top, we can see three different options: new design files to create files from scratch, new FigJam files to create new FigJam files from scratch, and to import files. In this demonstration, we would be importing a file. And to perform that, you just click on import file and click on the file, locate to the file which we have provided and just open it. Wait for a while it to load, and once it's done, you can just open this uh, by double clicking. Now we will wait for a while for everyone to catch up. I hope everyone has catched up now. So to begin with, uh, as we can see on the top left side, we have different tools which we will be using along our demonstration. These tools are like pointer tools, frame tools, shape tool, pen tool, and etc. On the left hand side, on the left panel, we have the layers.
You all must be wondering what layers means. Basically, layers are set of all the elements we are using in our design. Layer helps in arranging all the elements as preferred way.
So if we choose an element, we can see all the properties of the element on the right hand panel. The right hand panel includes the properties like alignment properties, effects, and different dimensions of the element you have chosen. So in this case, we have chosen a UI for a food delivery app, and we would be trying to mimic this on our own. So first, what do we need? We need a base. We need to create a background. First, we will try this by rectangle tool, which you can equip by hitting R or just by pressing this rectangle icon here. So let's try creating a rectangle here. But as you can see, it's really hard to match the resolution of this base we already have. So in order to perform that, we can use the frame tool. Frame tool already consists of different preset resolutions of phones we use. In this case, we would be using the iPhone 11 Pro resolution. Now, as you can see, the corners are rounded in this design, but not in ours. So in order to achieve that, we would select the element, go to the design tab, and here we can see this, the corner radius. To increase this, just hover your mouse over it. You will see a arrow icon, and drag uh, drag and hold it to right to increase and left to decrease. So since we have to increase it, we would be increasing this to a value which we desire. But in if we want to get exactly the same radius as this one, just select this element, look up for the round radius in this element and copy it to our element. So here they now it look exactly alike. Now to get now to moving forward, now we have to create the status bar. You must be wondering, where do we get these icons? So these icons can be downloaded from the internet, and I would suggest a very good website for these icons as Figma resources. This website contains very large variety of UI kits, icon packs, and many different things. So for this project, for this demonstration, we would be just duplicating these icons, which you can perform by hitting Control D, and this will create a duplicate layer for it. Just go on and drag this to your project. Now place it according to your own preference. Similarly, you can perform on different icons. We would be duplicating this and placing it in our design. Now we can go on and place all the elements and our status bar would be ready. But now we would be moving on to our text. So as you can see here, we have a text box, but how to get text on here? You can do that by hitting T on your keyboard or just clicking this T icon here. Just select the area you want your text to be, and now just type in the text you have. Now you can edit all the properties of it in the design tab. Like I would like to change the alignment, and now I would like to make it a little bold. We can also try changing colors of it. So for that, you need to look up for the fill section. Here you can see the colors. And also I would like to tell you about this eyedropper tool. If you are familiar with any design tools like Photoshop or Illustrator, you must already be knowing about this. This tool is very helpful for picking up colors directly from images which are already there in your project. Just like this. If I want this blue color in my text, I would just click on this eyedropper tool and select this blue color. Easy. And now I have got that blue color on my page. And now again, I would just go on to this and check the font size here, and will similarly copy the font size to get exactly the same element. So now let's try creating this rectangle. How can we do that? Just create a rectangle and resize it according to your frame. Now, as you can see, only one corner of this rectangle is rounded. So how can we achieve that? We can achieve that firstly by selecting the element and choosing this option, which is independent corners. This will allow us to independently change the radius of all the corners. You can either put the values here, or you can just go to this small circle and drag it inside according to your preference. So a small tip here, if you want to traverse throughout your workspace here, you can use Control key, hold down on it, and use your mouse scroll wheel to zoom in or zoom out. And to traverse it horizontally, you need to hold down the Shift key, and again, through your mouse scroll wheel, you can traverse it from left to right. Now, I would like to add this element in our design, and to do that, we would be again using our rectangle tool. So to making it visible over the background layer, we would change the color of it. And now I would just give a radius to the corners. Since it is looking a little plain, we can now add an image to it. And how can we do that is going to internet and try websites like Unsplash, which I would highly recommend. Go to it, and since we are looking for some food photos, we could just go on and
Wait, That pastry looks yum. Let's add that in our design.
Surely, we could in Figma, we can just copy this image and go to our project again, select the element we need to paste it into and just hit Ctrl V. Here we have our picture in the element. Now we can go on designing it further, but now I hope you all have the basic understanding of Figma app and you all have the sample design of the website provided by us. So you can now try and mimic the design by yourself. Once you are done with that, you would have explored a wide range of features of Figma, and now you are ready to create your own designs. In the last, I would like to say designs can be witnessed everywhere around us, from the moment we wake up in the morning scrolling through our phones to computing applications at work, from reading news in application to gaming alleys. We are surrounded by the things that deserve the acknowledgement. With this, we would like to conclude our session. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and we hope you had a great learning experience. If you have any doubts, you can always reach out to us at the displayed contact info. Thank you and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Varnika and Krish, for such an insightful session. The link for the feedback form is floated in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback form before leaving the session, as certificate will be provided on the basis of submission of these forms only. By this, we come to an end to this amazing and very insightful session of Sunday Tech Series, hoping for our active participation in our future webinars as well. Moving towards the end, I would like to thank our director, Dr. Prachi Gharpure, for providing us with the opportunity, Associate Dean STME and the convener of this webinar, Dr. Akhil Banglowala, faculty team of the Sunday Tech Series for their constant guidance, and the organizing team for making this session possible. Thank you and hope to see you all in the upcoming webinars.